Your hands together and warmly welcome Miguel Ferrer.
Now the famous clicker. Well, I think I have to try to keep you awake after this fast and abundant lunch. If you saw the Dell video just passed, there was only one problem with that video, and unfortunately, I'm sorry, Dell guys, but the problem is that they're not using my machines to do this, and I think it's a matter of respect and common sense of business. You know, I give you my business, so you give me yours. I think it's a very, very fair statement, correct?
We'll call Microsoft.
Well. Those two I have to talk to. But anyway, today it's a very difficult task because we have been through a very interesting set of presentations, not only today and yesterday, but it kind of boils down into understanding how can we match all this and have an interesting discussion based on what we have learned and prepare for tomorrow, because tomorrow will be equally interesting. So there are two things. Through the lunch and yesterday through dinner, people say me, what are you doing here? What exactly what are you doing here? And indeed, having a Venezuelan guy, I'm from Venezuela originally, with Belgian nationality, working for a Swedish company, living in China, coming to Dubai to talking into an Indian market conference, doesn't match. Now, what I want to do, what we're trying to do is trying to put a little bit of sense around what we're trying to, what has been said these last couple of days. And I heard a lot of buzzwords and a lot of focus in many things. So we have heard about transformation. We hear a lot about innovation. We have said how business and IT are converging. And also, what is exactly what we need to do to serve those business objectives? And what I will pretend to share with you is my view on how really is a business view on this whole highly technical conversation we have. So my presentation is very, very short. We have basically 4 points I want to develop. I don't pretend to teach you how to be a CIO. You're already CIOs, many of you. Many of you are CTOs. I've been global CTO as well. And for sure, probably many of you very experienced. But you know, I've been in many areas, in many markets. And I will talk a bit about that. Then I will talk about the high-tech companies. I mean, we deserve high-tech companies. We will deserve also very traditional business, like a brick-and-mortar businesses. And I think us working for those companies, whether it's high-tech or not, and our suppliers working for us have to understand that anyway, we need to deliver a product that is equally appealing to both. We have different needs or the same, but have to attack in different ways. I have to confess to you guys that there is a small discussion that upsets me the most when I'm talking to other CIOs and IT community. Is when we talk, who is the business? We need to talk to the business. Where is the business? Look, honestly speaking, if you don't know the answer to that question, just leave the company and go somewhere else. You need to understand what's the business, and we talk who is the business, and then how to make the changes. Traditionally, we have inherited in our positions the fact that we have a lot of cables to manage. We have cables, we have racks, we have steel, and we have all these fantastic things. And then, you know, they're working. And if you look in your company, there are basically no one else to do it. And, you know, when you talk about this, yesterday Mark was talking about the HR paradigm, and we'll talk about the sales and the marketing as well in a minute. We say many people can help sell the product. I spend probably 50% of my time as a CIO selling the products of the company. And that I can do pretty well. But not many people in my company can come back and take care of my servers, my networks, my applications, my development. And quite frankly, we don't have many people can do that neither in the company. And that's why we find people like Dale, for example, that partner with us to do that in our behalf many times, or with us in many times. So this is one thing. You don't have many choices of who will have to do that. So yes, this you have to do. However, I have noticed that we, as a technical people, we are very, very, very focused. How can we reduce cost? How can we put, in a bottom line, so margin? How can we reduce, increase effectiveness? And that's fantastic, and we have to do that too. However, a question of reflection is, I think we need to do things to add to a top line. We have to generate revenue. We are in a position where we actually can make money for our companies. Not only using our cables, but the capacity, and we'll talk about those capacities in a second, to really drive knowledge that other people in the company don't have. I'm not saying, and be very clear, I'm not saying here that no one in your companies know anything except you. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you probably know things that you don't really apply to your company. And the third thing on this piece is, I also feel that when we have a strategy, we need basically to run our business strategy. Of course, we have tactics, how we will develop this, how we will virtualize, how we will move in applications here and there. And that's stuff that probably the guys in the panel later will be better suited to answer. But in my point of view, I think our main skill that we have in the CIO field is the ability to execute. We are constantly confronted to market pressures, to our stakeholders' pressures, to management pressures, to deliver different things every time in different conditions, in very challenging conditions, with money or with no money, with people or with no people, with vendors or with no vendors. But we have to deliver. And if you're still employed, probably you have delivered, correct? Otherwise, probably we will not be talking here. But the fact is that when it comes to get a purpose and executing, IT teams are extremely suited to do very complex execution pieces. There is a paradigm here is what is in there that is appealing to us as a business, and what is the business driving to us. When I speak now, I will speak my condition as a vice president of a company, because I have two jobs. I have a CIO, it's a part of my job, but I'm really a business person in here talking to you. And the big frustrations to the CXO community in the IT is they don't understand what you're talking about. They don't know what you're talking about. If I talk to my CEO, our only interest in this conversation is how can we make more machines of this that open holes in the ground and we sell them as much as we can. And apart from that, they don't care about the cloud or HPC or anything. They don't care about this. And quite frankly, they have told me maybe in a more, how we say, more flowerish language that they don't care. They are very direct on that. But they understand it's needed. They don't care about the details. So we really need to focus on what is bringing the bread to our tables. And by focus on that, it redefines a little bit how do we see the problems that we are trying to solve with the technology we apply. So if we really need to understand the problems, and I told you, I spend 50% of my time with my customers that buy machines like this and open holes in the ground. It's not very glamorous, sorry. I live from opening holes, but don't say this to anybody else. The second thing is, I have the impression also when I talk to my IT colleagues is that we are expected to do a lot with very little. This is not necessarily false. This is probably a conversation we have had with every CFO and administration in the company you have had. But what is true is that the reason for this type of discussion is because we're not talking the right language here. We need to really move in from cloud, from next generation networking, and we will talk about that in a second, into revenue producing, better service to our customers, efficiency. And then, I enjoyed very much Jacob's presentation before, because he was saying, what we're trying to do is you to be able to serve better your customers. And actually, that appeals to me a lot. That I understand perfectly. I don't know exactly all the details about all these layers of software and so on and hardware, but what I understand is if I can be faster, deploy my applications to my customers, and they buy more machines from me, now I'll be happier, correct? I get better profit, I get more revenue, and then we're still doing business. One last consideration is that we fail a lot to look into our backyard, and our backyard is our competitors and our associates. I think I spend also time talking to our competitors, which is very strange in many industries, but you have to talk to your competitors and know what they're doing. And this intelligence will actually ease the both points. One question. How does it work in your companies? And I will say, who in here actually sit down with your CEO and your executive committee to take decisions about the business? Who here does that? That's fantastic. Actually, it's very high percentage compared to what I was expecting. Where you sit is not important. What is important is that you actually go and sit and do it. I met many CIOs that complain a lot they're not reporting to the CEO or they're reporting to a CFO or someone else, sometimes the technical directors or something like this. I think this is absolutely irrelevant. You can report to anyone you want. That's not a problem. You can report to HR guy. That's not a problem, as long as you sit down and have the right discussions with the right people. So what we're doing really, in any case, is affecting the performance of our business. It's affecting the future of our business. We have to sit down and teach our executives what the possibilities the technology is bringing to our business, not only to cut costs, but to make more revenue. In the case of Volvo, and I was strictly asked to talk about Volvo because this is called a vertical session. I never understood what is a vertical session, but anyway, I'm doing a vertical session here. In Volvo, what happened when we took over and tried to understand what was the business strategy, we found out that no one actually collected this business strategy. We had a strategy department like everybody else, making financial calculations on how the markets will move and so on. But the actual objectives and the goals, and I saw through the Twitters that the panel today, we're talking about objectives and the goals and so on. This was not collected anywhere. And we took the initiative, and the CIO office took this responsibility, and we're doing this for the company. And we really are succeeding. We are seeing as anybody else, as a salesperson, as an administration or finance person. So we are basically the CIO office, and we are there with many other skills, and I will talk about those skills in a minute. Many of you will tell me, well, maybe it's because of Volvo. It's a very forward-thinking company, and you're very advanced on this. Let me tell you, if you say this like this, you can pay me a beer for every time you say this. It's not like this. It's a very difficult company to work with in this sense. It's like every other company, changes comes at an amount of effort that you cannot believe. And doesn't matter which company it is, you can really move forward. The collaboration internally and externally, and I'm talking about our partners, our suppliers, and our groups, are fostered toward the CIO. So in Volvo, basically, the CIO is kind of a very central and wide role that has been like this, not because we're a bunch of geniuses. It's because we have been able to move through the time into a position where we actually seeing adding value. This added value, and we talk about the technology in a second, we need to do 4 things building for success. And I think we will continue talking through the panel about these topics, but and going into the technicality of those, because I want you to get a lot of information from the panels and recommendations what other companies do. I will mention one thing, the Great Revival. This is the phrase my business person, favorite business person. Thank you. Fantastic. No, but yeah, that's a great help. Thank you. So the Great Revival is a phrase used by Carlos Ghosn. He used to be the president of Nissan Cars, and now he's the president of Renault. And he said one phrase that's very key. Innovation drives profitability. You don't innovate, you will lose your customers because they will go wherever else have the new thing. So innovation drives profitability. And it seems through all the people before me that innovation actually many times comes from the IT side. So remember, innovation drives profitability. If you're not innovating in your company, and that doesn't mean invest millions in new things, buying iPads and stuff like this. I'm not saying this. I'm saying you have to innovate the way to do business. You make more profitable company. It's very seldom I see in other companies, and I was president of a business unit of a telecom provider in the past, where the provider is sitting in your steering committees and your decision-making bodies. And this is a very delicate topic to say, but if you're in a true partnership with people that actually are adding value to your business, I think it makes a lot of sense having them sitting with you, helping you making the decisions you need to make. Not because they will drive their own interest, because you believe they're really partners, correct? So I'm not saying now you will get all the Dell guys to your office and sit them and, and run the business for you. What I'm saying is they have to sit with you, not because you don't know what to do. It's because they can give you an insight where to go. Yeah, this is my last slide, so pretty much on time. I want to tell you two things to finish. The first about the critical CIO office skills. And you will tell me, well, we have to be very good at delivering technical solutions to the company and so on and so forth. Actually, in my CIO office, you will be surprised, the main skill is project management. We don't have many network administrators. We don't have many servers, experts, not even developers. I have a battle of project managers. And the CIO office in China, we are building 2 factories. We are building a research center, introduce 5 new models of excavators, and deploy 9 instances of SAP at the same time. And for my CEO, it's exactly the same, me building a factory or deploying SAP. For them, there's no difference. It's a project, and we deliver them. So you have to understand what is the strength of your organization using all this technology we are talking about today, bringing into your company, delivering those results. So we're not experts at everything, and it's very difficult to be. But then you get closer to people that are more experts than you in many things. So this sounds like an obvious statement, but yet it's very difficult to do in a real-time situation. So believe me, I think there's skills we need to move on. So the last piece is about the career is over. You have heard many, many times about the CIO career is over. You cannot do anything else about this. And yet you have CIOs building plans or selling thousands of $500,000 machines to customers. So career is not over. So, and this boils down to requirements. To understand what is exactly the reason you are doing the stuff you are doing. What is exactly what your company, your business need. I will tell you a story to close this piece of the intervention. It's about 3 brothers. And this story I got from a CEO from Hong Kong some time ago. These 3 brothers had a very old mother, and they tried to please her by some gifts. So the first brother buys a huge house to the mother, the most expensive house he could buy, and he offered her. She says, thank you very much, I will be back to you in a year. Thank you very much. Next brother bought the best car he could buy, the fastest one, and gave to the mother. And she says, thank you very much, talk to you in a year. The third one bought a parrot. Yeah, parrot. That spoke 10 languages. Because he thought, maybe she will be lonely, so has someone to talk to. And she says, thank you very much, talk to you in a year. So a year passed, and she goes to the first brother, and she says, well, thank you very much for your house, but unfortunately, I'm 92 years old, I have no friends alive, no one can come visit me, I hardly have the strength to go upstairs, So I live only in the ground floor of the house. So it's a waste of time, and then, you know, I have to clean it too. So that's not good for me. The first brother goes very sad. Then comes the second. No, what about the car? You know, the first time I put my foot on the accelerator, I almost crashed and killed myself. This is a very powerful car. And actually, all I need to do is to go to the grocery shop around the corner. So I just walk. And then, you know, this car has been there taking dust for forever. He goes very sad. The third brother comes and says, what do you think about my gift? And she said, you knew exactly what I was looking for. That's exactly what I needed. And thanks again for that delicious chicken you gave me. So, the important thing here is we might provide a customer and customer internal or external customers with stuff they don't really need. We believe it's very good for them, but they don't really need it. They don't even want it. And if you talk about servers and all these fantastic things and so on, I've seen in many companies, these servers are like the parrot. We just eat it. We don't really use it to the full extent. So, CIO, building for success, you need really to take account why we do all these things we do. And I hope that the panel we will start pretty soon will give you first-hand experience for all the people in the companies, including myself, how we apply these technologies to solve genuine problems in the organization. So I think we're exactly on time. Perfect. Yeah, I knew 4 slides will do the time. So thank you very much. If you have questions, I'll be happy to spend 2 more minutes on that. If you don't, we just pass straight forward to the panel. Okay?